Hey everybody, Kevin here from HumboldtCraftworks. Welcome to another episode of Woodworking with Mr. Kevin. That's me, and today we're going to continue on with the portable bar build. In the first part of this video, we're going to talk about the Domino machine, what I've learned in the last year or so of using it, and how to set everything up, and helpful tips, hopefully. If you're thinking about buying one, this might help you out, because I'm going to tell you what I like about it and things that have happened to it. So then we're going to domino all the parts, and you're going to see how I lay everything out and domino all the pieces together. And then in the second part of this video, I'm going to show you how I go about dadoing all of the door parts on the table saw. I'm going to show you how to do a drop cut on the table saw, and this is not for the faint of heart or the inexperienced. So do not attempt it if you do not feel comfortable doing this. But I'm going to show you how to mark all the ins and outs, the starts and the stops, and how I go about doing it. You're going to see that entire thing, so you too can build doors and dado out door parts on your table saw. Then after that, we're going to lay out the 1/4 inch Quatersawn raised panels. And I'm going to show you how I get all the flitches to line up beautifully, and that's it. So I'm going to put chapters in this so you can just skip around to whatever the hell you want. I do the same thing, so have at it and enjoy. And thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing. We made it past 600, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it, and let's get to it. Here we go. Oh, that one made me disappear. Hold on. Okay, let's get to the video. All right, thanks for watching. All right, everybody. I got the door parts right out here in front of me. And what we're going to do is we're going to change up the domino machine here. And we're going to use whatever size these are, and I can't really read what they say. So we're going to put 2 in the bottom rail. That's going to be amazing. And let's see. I will just put 1 in the top rail. Good thing to do if you're going to be face joining and planing is to write on the edge right here what the part is, with the arrow going up and all the different directions you need to know what they are, because these are all grain matched together. Yeah, so we got the right and left grain matched together, and these are grain matched together, so everything's grain matched together. The 2 center stiles are 1 board, right, and I separated them, so one's going to be the left and one's going to be the right. And then these won't really match, they're on the outside, but they're from the same board anyway. I'm going to domino them together first, and then tomorrow morning I'm going to show you how I go about dadoing the center of these out so you can put a panel in them. And then we're going to start and stop drop these into the table saw to make the same dado. But now we get to change this guy out. Listen, listen. That gets me every single time. So here's one thing that happened to me. See the bottom? See that, how it's dented? A piece of schmutz got in here. And this thing wiggles around like crazy. So a piece of debris got in there. It's going because this thing moves and spins at the same time. And it dented the living crap out of the bottom and did that. So I don't really want to buy a new base. I kind of pounded it out with a metal hammer. I made it as flat as I could. That's kind of a bummer. But, you know, like I said, I break everything, and I haven't broke this yet, knock on wood. It'll probably happen one of these days, though. All right, so now we're going to take this guy out. Let's see, is this the right one? Oh, I think this is the one. Whatever that is. 06. Whatever that is, that's what we're doing. So the little button you got to hold down here. Screw that in like, just screw it in like you're screwing in everything else. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Usually you'd think something like this would be different. It's not. Okay, I'm going to put this in here. Click. And that's it. It's magic. It's unbelievable. Let me make sure I got this set right. So that's it, and whatever that is. This is set for 20. Usually 20 is good for 3/4 inch material. We're going to practice on this guy here. See what it looks like. Yeah, it looks like about right. 20. So I have this guy set to 20, and this one set to 20 also as well. I'm going to make sure everything's locked into place, because one time I started doing this came loose, and it was going up and down doing all sorts of crazy things, and that wasn't good. Everything happens at least once. That's why I said you got to make friends with your tools. So once you make friends with them, they'll tell you their secrets, and you'll be like, oh, okay. I got to remember to do this and make sure that this is locked into place all the way down, and this is in there, and this is pushed down, and that's locked into place. And they'll be friendly. But until you figure it all out, not so much. I love using this thing. It is so much fun. All right, we're plugging this into Gizmo. Gizmo that takes forever to shut off. Got the hoser over here. Plug that into this guy and flip that guy into here. Boom. Okay, so we got to make sure we get all this right. Okay, this is the center. These 2 are the center. Boom, that's correct. This goes this way. That is correct. I have this little wiggle waggle. This is the wiggle waggle adjustment. I always keep it in the middle. The big one seems a little ridiculous. The small one is just suicide, because if you are off just by a bazillionth of an inch, it's not going to go in right. So we just don't do that. I'm going to use a kindergarten pencil so I can actually be able to see it. And I'm going to come in here. Boom, boom. That looks good. We're just eyeballing it. All right, let's buzz these puppies. Let's see what happens. Should we do a test piece on this guy first? No. All right, boom. We're putting all the Stiles over there. We're going to put all the end grain rails here. And we're going to do the end grain first. And see how this whole thing works out. Oh boy. Here we go. That one made a unibobber. This one made a unibrow. It's just one big old eyeball right there. So I can actually separate these more, I guess, but whatever. Man, I can't believe how tight they are. Freaking amazing. All right, so that's the left, that's the right. This is the bottom left here. Oh man, I'm telling you, it is just so amazing. I'm so used to biscuits. You know, back in the day, you put biscuits in there and they're all sloppy, and it's just not the same as Domino's, man. Get that one going. Oh, you know what? This one feels a little funny. You know why? Because it's upside down. I'm like, why does that feel so different? And the pencil's not lining up, but they still do. Got to get all that crap correct. I'm just going to clamp it up, see what it looks like, because I can't wait. There's something about a solid hammer compared to a dead blow when you're putting things together and you want to be precise. Just something about it. There's our first door. I want to see how flat this is. It is flat, like pancake flat, like flat earth flat. That's amazing. There it is. All right, there's one. I'm just going to push this over here and we're going to do another one. Let's do another one. All right, so, and we also have the drawer fronts here. Let's see, this is the right drawer front. This is the left drawer front. You see how those grains match together? They go together. We ripped them out of the same board. We cross-cut them right down the middle, and then we cut them to size on the outside. So there it is. They're going to be separated by about 1/4 of an inch, but the grain matches all the way through. That's what you want to do. It makes everything look more beautiful, and it makes you look more professional. It doesn't make you look like a dummy.
I'm a dummy.
Okay, we got all the rails and Stiles marked. Let's see if we can actually spread these apart. I think we can. I think it'll come out better. It'll make them hold in place better. That one unibrow looking thing was it's kind of sloppy. Here we go. So you really want to be careful when you're going into end grain. End grain seems to be the hardest to start. The side grain, you can hear the difference when you're cutting it. It goes in pretty easy, but the end grain, if you hit it too hard, it really jerks. And sometimes it'll just tear it right out of your hand, so you really got to hold on tight. Let's domino this puppy together. So this one holds together way better. The one with the unibrow looking center, where the dominoes burn through each other, it doesn't feel as tight and snug as this does. Green. Look, it's very crooked. This is not a very strong joint. They told me it would be a strong joint. Okay. So you can see how the grain carries through from the top. Grain carries through here and the bottom, up here and up there. That's what you want to do. You want to make sure all the grain matches. If you want to go crazy, you can also mill the style that's behind here, especially if this is an inset. You mill this one and this one out of the same board too, and it looks freaking amazing. All right, well there it is. So I'm just going to leave that until tomorrow. We're going to edge sand the edges of these so it's all nice and beautiful. I'm going to sand it by hand. We're not going to put any kind of router bit on this thing to make it rounded over. We're going to do it by hand so it looks more organic. If you want to see something done, just let me know. Comment below. Have a question about something and you want me to make a video about it, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep making dumb shit like this and nobody's going to watch it. So help me out. All right, see you tomorrow. Choo-choo. Hey everybody, welcome to day 3. Today I'm going to sand the inside of the face frame, the outside of the face frame. We're going to round all the edges over just to make them all nice and smooth and not so sharp. And then we're going to take the doors and I'm going to dado the inside here for the flat panel that's going to sit inside there. And I'm going to show you how to make a drop cut on the table saw, which is kind of dangerous. So if you don't feel comfortable trying it, don't, because you're liable to wind up with a piece of wood in your gut. But I'm going to show you how it's done. I'm just showing you how it's done. I've done it a million times. I've never had a problem. I've even done pieces that were like 8 inches long and it worked fine. We'll go over that when I get to the table saw. We're going to use the digital Wixey height gauge to get the height set right for the blade. We're going to use a 24 tooth rip blade and just put a dado around the whole interior of this thing. So if you don't have a domino machine and you have a biscuit joiner, you can still do the same exact thing. You just have to use the little biscuits instead of the 20s. You got to use zeros. So after we do the dados, what we're going to do next is going to measure for the panels, and I'm going to show you how to lay out the panel so we get the flitch right in the middle. Because that's what you want. You want it to look centered and beautiful, because if it's not, and you just rip a piece out just to fit it, it's going to look dumb. And it's better to have it all lined up and beautiful. And I'm going to show you how I go about doing that. It's pretty damn simple. All right, everybody, here we go. Let's get to it. I'll see you on the table saw. I'm going to turn the Wixey on. It's at 0, so we're going to raise it up. We want 5/16. So I'm going to raise that up until it says 0.312. Or somewhere close. You'll see it actually say 5/16 on there. So I'm going to hold this down here because it works the best. Okay, we're at 0. Here we go. Raise this up till it says 0.3. We're getting closer. All right, 1.5. So 5/16. So the biggest problem I have with this Wixey readout is that it's not lit up. If I light it up like this, then I can see it. But without using a light, an external light like this one right here, I can't ever tell what the hell that thing says. And that's the only bummer about that. But other than that, very, very awesome, very accurate. I like it a lot. And you can see, I don't know, hopefully you can see it on there. It says 5/16. All right, I'm going to lock the blade into place because that's what we want. And now we're going to get to dadoing. It's going to be awesome. All right, everybody. So now that we got our blade at 5/16, what we're going to do is we're going to mark the ins and outs. So I'm taking this triangle right here, and right, you hear it, barely hitting it. Boom, it's right there. So I'm going to take this triangle, leave it there. I'm going to bring this square down, and I'm going to butt it into it right there. I'm going to draw a line right here. And then I'm going to carry that line over the top, and this one is actually the stop. And we're going to do the same back here. So we're going to do the same thing where this blade comes through and it just barely touches this little triangle right here. We're going to put a mark, take this square, and I'm going to carry this over here. And start. Okay, so this is our start and this is our stop. So what we're going to do is we're going to drop in parts. We're going to drop in the stiles, are the ones that we're going to drop in today. The rails just get cut all the way through. But before we do that, we're also going to do this. I'm marking where the rails go. Make sure they're kind of flush. Boom. This is good for gluing up. It's also good for what we're about to do right now. All right, we're going to separate all this. We're going to pull the dominoes out. Okay, the important ones are the stiles. We're going to do a lot of work with the stiles. The rails, we're going to mark an X, where we're going to dado. All right, so both these have an X right there. I'm going to take the label and we're going to put them label out, X down. That way when we grab them off over here, we're just going to run them. And we'll check each one because, you know, we're paranoid. All right, so we have our marks for the rails right here and right here. We're going to come in with a 1-inch square. This square is 1 inch wide. I'm going to come in, mark it there, and come all the way up here like this. I'm going to bring that line across. So instead of where the rail is, we went 1 inch into the rail. And we're going to do that on both of them. Okay? Face out. This side gets the dado right here. All right, so when we go to dado this, here is our, here's the rail mark right here. That's where the rail's going to go. Here's our start mark. Start's going to be like right there. And I'm going to drop it in right on top of that start. And then we're going to go forward and we're going to pull it out because this is the stop mark, which is 1 inch into the rail. We don't want to go through the end because we don't want to see it, but we want to get it way the hell up in here. So that's why it's always a good idea to cut your dominoes first, because that's actually going to help you when you go to drop it in. You won't be dropping into a solid hunk of wood. You'll be dropping into a domino. So now you should have 2 3-inch rails here. You got the 2-inch rails there, and you got the opposite here. Boom, boom. That way you know they're all kind of facing the same way. All the dominoes should be on one side, or your biscuits should be on one side. And now you're ready to rock and roll it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a test piece just to make sure that we have this where we want it. I have a scrap piece that we're going to use, I think. Yep, that's it. So we're going to use this scrap right here. We'll figure out our panel thickness using this piece here. And once this is right, then we'll make the final cut on all of these guys here. So we're going to start with all the rails and just run them through, and then we're going to take these guys here and we're going to drop them in. I'm going to hold on to the back really, really tight. So I'm going to hold on good with this hand. I'm going to drop this on the start button right there. It says start and all the lines will line up. We're going to push it through and then we're going to pull out once it says stop, which is right here. You don't want to go all the way through it. You want to stop it on the stop mark. Okay? Hopefully we get all this right. We're going to start with these guys, holding it up, putting down on the start button, stop on the stop button. You can go a little farther past it. See how that makes that cut? Okay. On the top, watch your fingers. We're going to go this way, 3/16 or 3/32, not quite an eighth. I'm not sure the thickness of the plywood. Okay, we have this here. We're going to put this against the fence and right like that. Now I'm going to check. Not bad. Go a little farther now. Okay, now we're going to check it again. So that is perfect. So now we're going to do all kind of backwards. Here we go. Face out, start, drop it in place. Stop. There it is. And there we go. Now I'm going to lower the blade down because I want it out of the way. All right, there we go. So now we're going to figure out how big to make our panels. So to figure out how big to make your panels, you basically need rails, and then you add just a 1/2 inch. So this is 17 7/8, and then we're going to add a 1/2 inch to that. So 18 3/8. Okay, so that'll be the width. We're going to draw ourselves a little hieroglyphic here. Boom, 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 boom. Squeaker says 18 3/8 is a good size. And then what we're going to do is we're going to measure where the rails are. And there's our rail there, and there's the rail here. We're going to use this. Measure the right way so I can actually trust it, because I don't really trust those tapes anymore. All right, so we have 16 1/4, and then we're just going to add a 1/2 to that, so it's 16 3/4. Now we're going to mill the panels real quick. I'm going to show you how to do that. Maybe I could do you in the same spot here. All right, so we want a beautiful panel. Look at that. What the hell? I got boogered up already. You guys see where the flitch is? It's right here. So the center of the panel is right here, right where this flitch is right there. So 18 3/8, is that what I said it was? Is 9 3/16. 9 3/16 is here. So we're going to actually do this way. We're going to make a rip. So I'm going to mark this here like this, 9 3/16, and then I'm going to go this way, 9 3/16, which is here. Okay, so we have these two marks right here. What we're going to do is we're going to continue up this way, and we're only going to go up, we're just going to go up like 38 inches, let's say. Boom, right to there. So here's what I'm going to do. I got to move all the lights and everything. I'm just going to take this hunk of plywood, take the fence and slide it over till it's 40 inches. I'm going to turn this sideways, and I'm going to cross cut this thing once I change the blade out. My first cut is going to be at 23 inches, and then I'm going to come back to the 18 3/8 and rip that there, and this should be totally centered. And we'll have a really nice flitch that'll be centered in the door. All right, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this blade out to the ultimate plywood melamine blade. That's what we're going to do, because it cuts beautifully. Little tip, if you're ever changing out your blades, it's always a good idea to raise it up just a little bit so you can get it closer to you so you're not bent down all the damn time. You don't have to tighten the living crap out of all these nuts. I've seen people go like crazy. Here's a tip for you right here. I use my left hand because it's more convenient, and I've cut my hand like this around as I'm undoing the nut. Just like that. I'm rotating around using my thumb, and I'll pull it out just the way I'm doing it. See right there? See where it is? I'm just rotating my thumb around. Give it the wiggle. Do the same thing with this. I'm reaching my hand around, I'm cupping it around the washer. That way you never drop the damn thing down the hole. Once I figure that out, I don't think I've ever dropped the damn thing down the hole in probably 10 years. And when you go to put it back, do the exact opposite of what you just did. Cup it in your hand like this, all right? Cup it, put it over the top, wiggle it around until it goes on there. That's a pain in the butt. And do the same with this guy, okay? And I always use my left hand because it's much easier. And I actually stick my finger in there like it's a black olive. See how that is? And I cut my hand around that, and I just spin it around until it starts. All right, there we go. Once it's on there, it's on there. All right, then you take it and you just like that. Doesn't have to be super tight, just snug. It's not gonna fly off. It's the opposite thread kind of thing, you know? All right, we're gonna lower this down because we're cutting 1/4 inch, and there we go. All right, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully I don't knock over everything. Woo, we just barely missed it. That was awesome. Okay, now watch out for that blade. We'll go 23 and a 16th. All right, so we're using this flitch right here. Okay, this is the side we just cut. We're cutting to there. Okay, so now this is centered in the panel. See that? 16 3/8. So we're going to start out at like 17. Here, we want to cut this crap off. You should never do this like I'm doing now because this is wrong. So be very careful. All right, there we go. Flitch looks like when it's centered in the panel. What I'm doing now is just comparing what would look better. I think wider would look better, this little arrow point. Make it look 2 points. Now I'm just trying to figure out which one looks better. Which one should be the right, which one should be the left. I'm pretty sure it's going to go like this. Because these kind of match each other even though they're going to be separated. Yeah. These little points are going up. That's what we want to, everything wants to be going up. So that's how we're going to put them in there. This is going to be the left, and I'm going to put an arrow on the top. And this is going to be the right. When I put a little arrow on the top, that means they go up. So when I put them in the doors, that's how they're going to go. Yeah, Squeaker says they're dead center. So these flitches right here are dead center. That'll make your door look much better. I can't really see on the monitor how that looks good, but hopefully it does somehow. Anyway, there we go. All right, let's put them in the doors.
Subscribe now.
What are we going to talk about today in Evelyn Spedhead's Woodworking? Of course, here we go, here we go. Hey! Whoa. Where's the center? Nice. All right, so where we left off. I swallowed a booger. And of course, it all falls apart because you're trying to do something stupid, dummy. How do we go about doing that? Well, we're going to do it the same way we did all this other crap. My white card. This is my white card. It's the get out of racist free jail thing.
What?